So when we examine the scope of what martial artists are, if we boil it down, then we would say that we're in charge of our personal safety, in charge of the safety of ourselves and those people that are around us, the people that we love, our families, our extended families, our tribe. It's our job to help protect those people. So that's one of the primary goals of martial art is self-defense and the ability to be able to protect myself and my loved ones. So when we examine that, we open that up a little bit. What else am I responsible for protecting them from? Right? So if it's my job to protect them against a mugger in an alley or a murderer who's trying to come in and break into my house, and I'm willing to do those things, what other things do I need to protect them from? So I want you to consider that preparedness is a form of self-defense. So it doesn't do much good if you are, like if there's a gang of 8 guys with knives and you can defend them all and protect your family, but yet a tornado comes through and you don't have a storm shelter, or you have a hurricane and you don't have an evacuation plan, or you have a power outage and you don't have a generator and you don't have backup batteries and you don't have food supplies and water supplies, you don't have medical supplies, you don't have the ability to refrigerate the diabetic medicine that your mother-in-law needs. So all of those things are still a form of protection. Still our job, right? So being able to drive my car effectively and stay out of accidents and be aware and don't let anybody else hit me, driving like that is part of my job. So being prepared and anticipating economic downturn. What happens if you lose your job? What happens if there's an injury or an illness in the family? So all of those things are things that we need to have plans for, things that we need to consider. This is in with the scope of me protecting my family, right? So no matter how tough you are, no matter what championship belt you have, no matter how many black belts you have, no matter what rank you are, if you're in a car accident and a piece of metal is sticking through your wife's thigh and she's spraying blood over the windshield out of her femoral artery and you don't know how to fix it, you can't look at her and say, look, if this was a guy trying to kill us with a club or a knife or a gun, I could handle that. But this is, sorry babe, this is outside my scope. Then you failed, right? You failed to be able to protect your family, failed to be able to do what you needed to do. So when you look at the scope of martial arts, there's actually a lot more than just the punching and the kicking and the cool disarms and the fun drills and all that stuff. We have to take the responsibility of protecting ourselves from, and our family and our loved ones and eventually our extended tribe. We have to look at that and consider what are all the things that threaten my family. And that's a much larger scope than most people consider. So I recommend that you sit down and you write those things down. What are we going to do if this happens, if that happens, if this happens? And you look at economic downturn, loss of job, financial stability. You look at physical security, right? First, in physical security, you got to look at what it is that's threatening you, right? What is your personal threat assessment? Then you have to look at the other things that are factors into all those things. And then you build plans for them. Then you educate and train your family in how to do those things. So when you realize that as a martial artist, it's much more of our job to be able to protect those things because they're far more likely to happen percentage-wise than meeting a guy in a dark alley who's trying to stab you and your wife with a screwdriver. So open up your idea of what you think a martial artist is and consider all those variables.